Before set 11 meta comes, I just want to share a deck profile that I was inspired to make by Arlyn Gonzalez. In fact, Arlyn Gonzalez is the reason why I made this deck, because we're in an awkward time right now where it's nearing the end of set 10, going to set 11, and I want to run something different. He came to locals with a deck similar to this, and then I took the general shell and added my own twists to it. His version is different, but he definitely gets the credit for inspiring me to make this deck. Golden Frieza is competitive. This deck is competitive, and so is his version. But unfortunately, it's costly, as you can see. And that's the only way to make it competitive is if you run most of the cards in here. So for the 1-drops, Zarbon, this guy tutors your Bardock Unison and pretty much all of these small Frieza guys, even the 4-drops. It works great, especially if you play it, hit a target, and then pop them to free an energy and draw a card. Chilai is to draw a card. You can pop her, draw another card on tap an energy, or you can use her to tutor Zarbon out, or Dodoria for double strike. Dodoria is used to self-awaken. You don't really need it. Sometimes you do, depending. He's a green Frieza army, that's why I run him. Android 17, a green negate, the only green battle card negate so far. And he's just a body to come into play. Negates the attack. He can combo to, survive another attack, or can be used as fodder to Bardock's +1 effect. So it makes him discard a card. He can also be used for Successor for Cell Zeno. Zarbon, you have to run this card. This card is broken, should not have been made, poorly designed. It's not color locked, meaning it can be run in any deck. As long as you're running green, you can run this. It's Frieza Army, so you can literally discard any dead green card in your hand, play this from your discard pile. You can play as many of these as you want in your discard pile per turn. Then you can pop with Frieza's ability, and then untap 2 energy if you're awakened and stuff like that. You can do some crazy stuff. The Counter Blast on Gohan, this is a very interesting super combo. Arlyn was running this. I decided that Arlyn was pretty much correct in running this. It's a good super combo. Basically, I know the text is covered up here, but the best part about it is if your opponent tries to go all in with a 5-drop or less with no barrier, you can just pop them off the board like Sugesh. Otherwise, just a draw card. That's all it really is used for, just to draw a card and gets a free 10k. But if they try to go all in with like a bomb attack, like attacking with a Bardock, you can just pop the Bardock off the board on your defense. I run 2 apes because there are times, even though this deck draws a lot of cards, there are times where you have dead turns or you don't want to do anything crazy. So you can, especially, again, when you're awakened, you can do some insane stuff. You can tap 2, draw 2, pop one of these Frieza Army guys, untap 2 energy, draw another card. You draw a lot of cards. You almost deck out every game if you play it a certain way. Ginyu, you have to run this card. Unisons are critical in this deck. This is a 1-drop Frieza Army guy that comes into play to negate. You can also return pretty much any of these guys back to your hand. And that's the point. You can do some insane stuff. Even if you're not going for game on the crackback, you can drop him for a negate, get this guy out. Like I keep recurring this back to my hand and then playing this on the awakened side. There are turns where I play 2 of these, get a massive hand size, pop 1, untap 2 energy, then play a Zarbon. Like you can do some insane stuff. When you shuffle the deck up and start playing with it, if you can make this deck, then you'll know what I'm talking about. Free play. That's the only reason why I run it. Plus, he's critical. He comes into play pretty readily. It's definitely worth attacking your opponent's battle cards to play him for free if you KO them. Again, a free play guy. Might as well run him. Bardock, Raiders Warcry. I run him because he goes great in this deck. Again, the 2 energy that I pay to play him can be untapped with any of these other Frieza Army guys. And he's definitely a threatening piece that can swing for game. He also draws a card. Counterplay Frieza, you have to run 4 of this. This card is, besides Trunks, possibly the best one that they have. He's just amazing. He's Frieza Army, and he works well with Fuse Zamasu. Again, Fuse Zamasu can be played by getting rid of one of these or one of these and one of these. And again, you can keep recurring this from the discard pile. There's so many crazy things you can do. You have to run Cell Zeno in this deck. I know that people are going to say, oh, this deck costs too much. Well, unfortunately, in the case of this set 1 leader in the deck, you have to run this card because you get the setup quite readily. Like you hit 12 very quickly, and even before turn 5, you can drop this. If you know your opponent is tapped out and they can't Sparking Negate, you can easily drop this and just swing once and just win the game on turn 4. I've done it before. And then I run a Fu Shrouded because this card is broken. I said earlier, like a month ago plus, that this card should be bought out. This card is insane. If you play this game competitively, you should definitely buy this card. This card is going to just get better and better. It's just, when it comes out, you pretty much, if your opponent's at 2 life, when this comes out, odds are you will win the game. And in this deck in particular, I can pay 6, drop him, and then if I have any of the Frieza Army guys that I can pop him, untap 2 of my energy, and then have even more fuel to go for game that turn. And then for the Unisons, this is a 50 card deck, by the way. I run 2 Demigra. He's good. If I get him out early enough, he's cute. He can peck for damage. He also acts as board control against Invoker and other decks. He's not as good as Bardock, though. Bardock is the #1 Unison in this deck. Bardock is just incredible. Can be tutored by this Zarbon, and Bardock is a win condition on its own. I've made multiple decks in this meta where I rely on Bardock for the game. Bardock is just absurd and borderline unfair at times. Like if your opponent only has like 2 or 3 life, you drop him for 4 energy, remove 3 tokens, swing 3 times, and then there are turns that I've played with this deck where I have 2 of these. I have one of these on the board with 4 markers and another one in my hand, -3. And then if I have 4 open energy or more, I will hard cast another one, -3, swing 3 more times, pop one of these guys, free up energy, and then swing for game with even a 1-drop Dodoria. There's a lot of action that can be done in this deck. And again, unfortunately, the cost prohibits players from generally making this because it's costly and the cards are hard to get. But this is definitely a tier 1 deck in my opinion, and it's very fun to use. And it definitely takes people by surprise. The sideboard is not like, sideboard is whatever. Again, the meta is going to change in a week or 2. Basic cards, nothing special. Dark Power against VJX and other types of decks. More Apes. Weskai, consider that in your sideboard. To combo out against Gohan and aggro rush decks. Haru Haru, obviously. Piccolo Jr. Arena Wrecker, which again might get replaced by Deborah next set. And other cards. So there's the deck. Let me know what you think. Again, I want to thank Arlyn Gonzalez for inspiring me to make this deck. This is a good collaboration, and hopefully we can do more in the future.